Okay, so just don't forget to save your stuff. And now you should start saving in increments a little bit more. So this is my Dragonfly 2. And you can see from a distance, it's already got a pretty good amount of detail in it. I'm going to hit it home though with my next step. And that's puffing out these forms. So these little cracks and crevices act as edge loops in sculpting world. I'm just going to go in here to the body. And we're going to use things like inflate a lot. We're going to use the standard brush a lot. And inflate's nice because when I inflate an area, let's say I inflate this area right here, it pays respect to the edge loops, okay? Or the fake edge loops. So I'm just going to kind of puff up this. I've already kind of established my forms in here and how they look. So this is just a way of going in and bulging out those forms a little bit. And don't be too hesitant to go in here and see how that's a little bumpy. That doesn't matter. And then my next step is going to conquer all that too. So I'm just puffing out these forms just a little bit. And I'm doing that on this side, then this side. This stuff really does act like clay. There's no doubt about it. So ZBrush is mainly a digital clay program. That's how I would describe it to anybody. If you ever worked with clay and you liked doing it, you're going to want to play with ZBrush. So this is kind of like the reverse of what we just did. We sunk in the forms. We sink in the forms first, pinch them together. That way, the other tools pay respect to the form changes. So this would be the other opposite polar reaction to that, and that would be moving out the forms now away from each other. Now keep in mind there's a billion ways to do this, and this is just my technique for separating out forms. And some people use the clay tubes brush a lot to separate or make forms. This is just my approach, and this would be my approach toward an insect. Certainly any other thing probably wouldn't look as good unless it was a scorpion. But when you have an exoskeleton as a spine, I would say this is a pretty good way to go. And I haven't even touched base upon these things yet. Like, you can add a little bit in here. And I would just add a little bit on the joints maybe. But you notice what happens if there's no edge loops in the area. That's right, it just goes nuts. Holding shift will polish those areas up a little bit too. Holding shift is the auto smooth feature. You're like, why didn't you tell me that before? Well, Wouldn't have been as fun before. Now you earned it if you got this far. If not, you're just sitting here going, whoa, that's so cool. Or maybe you have a dragonfly phobia. In that case, you're probably under the couch. Okay, scale out, and now you can see that it's starting to look a little bit more realistic. And then what we're going to do is take, let's see, the polish brush. So there's M polish and there's H polish. This is mid and high. I want to take high. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to kind of go over a couple times and flatten out these forms and make it look more more skeletal-like. The thing I hate about new sculptors that get into this thing is they leave everything looking like a balloon animal. So I'm going to save you the embarrassment now and teach you that there are tools that flatten out things so it rectifies the balloon animal problem. And if you're using an older version of ZBrush, this is also the flatten tool. You can use the flatten tool to just do the same thing. Like that. Yeah, that looks good. Flatten out that a little bit. And you can see the angle I'm kind of going at, you know, top down equals flat across top down, and if you just follow that, it'll squish up all your forms and then kind of blend in together. If it's on a side, I do a side projection and then flatten. So it's kind of based upon whatever projection you're going at. That'll polish it that way. Okay, so I got a lot of work to do here as far as, you know, these forms right here need to be all polished down. And I'll do this in the side and I'll do it in the top and bottom. So a lot of work, but well worth it. It'll save you some design time. This I can kind of blend all together a little bit more. So I like that spine right there, so I'm going to keep that. There we go. So once you get done flattening out your forms and kind of blending them together using the polish brush, meet me in the next video where we cover a little bit more.